Hi everyone, my name is Anjana Galaya and this is my video for the fifth task that was given to me as a data science and business analytics intern at the Sparks Foundation. The objective of this task was to perform exploratory data analysis on the given data sets, IPL matches, and the second one was a more detailed one, being of all of the deliveries in those matches. The code for this project is also available in my GitHub repository. I've included a link over here and I've also included a QR code which you can scan and it will take you to my repository page. I'll just jump to the Jupyter Notebook next and show you the code which I've performed. So we've used NumPy and Pandas to read in the data sets that we had, and for visualization in this project I'm going to be using Matplotlib, Seaborn, and the interactive libraries Plotly and Cufflinks. So we stored the CSV files that were given to us in two data frames known as matches and deliveries. And firstly we'll be working with matches, so we call the dot head method to check out all of the columns. So in total we have 18 columns for this data frame, and it has information regarding the season, the city, date, which were the two teams playing, and who were the winners of the toss, and what was the decision of the toss. Was the result normal or was it a tie and led to a super over or something like that? Who was the winner of the match? Was it a win by runs and how many runs? Was it a win by wickets and how many wickets? It also had information regarding the player of the match, the venue, and the three umpires. We can then call the .info method to see that there were 756 entries in this data frame and 18 columns, as I said. We can also check the type of the information that was stored in various columns. And we can call the describe method to check out various numerical values like count, mean, standard deviation, minimum, maximum, so on and so forth. Next, we check for null values in columns, and we do that using the .isNull.sum method, and this sort of returns the number of null values that were there in each column. And we see that more or less all of the columns are doing fine except for umpire 3, which has 637 null values, so we just prefer to drop that column altogether. So we use the dot drop method and then we can begin with our analysis. So firstly we're going to be analyzing the factors behind winning or losing, and we do that regarding the information that's with the help of the information that's given to us: toss winner, and toss decision. Firstly, we determine whether winning a toss affects your probability of winning or losing a match. And for this, we set up a variable known as win count and set it equal to 0. And then we check using a for loop if the toss winner is equal to the winner. And then we sort of keep adding to that value win count if the if statement is true. And this leads us to a conclusion that 52% of the times that you win the toss, you're going to be winning the match. So I wouldn't say that it's really deterministic of whether or not you'll win a match. If you sort of plot it out, you see that both of these bars more or less have the same graph. So it's a 50-50 chance that if you won the toss, you'll also end up winning or losing the match. So it's not pretty deterministic, and we can move on to the next analysis of what the toss decision was. So in case it was field, and the toss winner was also equal to the match winner, then we set up a new column in temp1, which is a temporary data frame, and we set that value equal to 1, and if it was bat, then it's set as 0. And then we can just call the dot head method off of temp1 to see this column field 1, and we see that it's a column containing values zeros and ones. And if we plot it out, we see that the number of times that a team won the toss and chose to field in the first innings and then ended up winning the match later was almost double the number of times that a team chose to bat and then won the match. So we can see that this is pretty deterministic of whether or not you'll win a match. Fielding in the first innings leads to more of a chance to win the match in the end. And next, what we can analyze is the win by runs or a win by wickets. So if you're not really a cricket fan, a piece of information that's vital for you over here is when you win by runs, that basically means you were batting in the first innings and the second team was not able to sort of chase down the number of runs you set. And if you win by wickets, then that means that you were the second team batting and you were able to chase down the run that was set by the first teams in the first inning. So we call the dot head method of temp2, which is again a temporary data frame, and it contains information such as win by run and win by wickets. And then we initialize an empty list over here called run win. And if win by runs was equal to 0, then run win we append the value 0. And if it was equal to win by wickets was equal to 0, then we append the value 1 to run win. And then when we sort of plot this out and sort of hover over these bars, we can see that the number of times you won by um, run win equal to 0, so that means you won by wickets was more as compared to the number of times you won by runs. So that basically means that when you were batting second or batting in second innings, you tend to win more. And this sort of goes hand in hand with the plot that we have over here, such that when you win in the first, when you choose to field in the first innings, you end up winning more. Then no information was given regarding weather and such, so we can't really analyze those as factors. And then we move on to a general analysis of players and matches. So we can see that player of the match, who won player of the match most number of times over the seasons, and we see the tallest bar over here is Chris Gayle, followed by A.B. de Villiers, who's currently in RCB. So an integral part of this project was to determine what kind of players or teams companies should approach if they want to sign brand endorsement deals. And in this case, as sports analysts, we can say that Chris Gayle, followed by A.B. de Villiers, are very popular players in the IPL tournament, and they can be approached for these purposes. Next, we check out the most utilized venues over the seasons, and we just do that using the dot value counts dot head method, and we see that Eden Gardens has been the most utilized venue over the seasons, and it has 77 matches that were played in the stadium, followed by M Chinnaswamy Stadium, which has 73. And we can also plot this out in a line plot and sort of hover over these values to see how many matches were played. For example, Wankhede Stadium had 73 matches played over there over the seasons. Next, and this is probably the most important analysis, is the number of times a team has won matches over the season. So, if you're a fan of the IPL tournament, you know that Mumbai Indians is currently has won most number of matches, followed by Chennai Super Kings and followed by KKR. So currently, the most important or the most powerful franchise in the IPL is the Mumbai Indians, and if brand endorsement companies are looking to sign deals with IPL teams, then they can go for Mumbai Indians or CSK, which are really popular teams. Uh, Next, we analyze the CSV file deliveries that was given to us, and this contained information such as the batting team, bowling team, the bowler, batsman, and the non-striker. And then it talked about whether it was like by a wide run, no ball, penalty runs, the batsman runs, total runs, extra runs, so on and so forth. It had a total of 21 columns that you can go through. We set up a runs data frame known as runs DF, and we grouped by the batsman, and then add up the all of the batsman runs that they had, and then we print it out. So we can see that over the seasons, Virat Kohli has had most number of runs in the IPL, followed by Raina, Sharma, and Warner. So these are pretty popular batsmen, and you can plot this out, and companies can use this piece of information if they want to sign deals with them. And you can see this trend over here of batsmen and the number of runs that they've scored. These are just the top 10 values that I've plotted over here. And what we can do next is a season wise analysis. So we set up teams per season and we group by the season and then check the value counts off of the winner column. And we see that in 2008, the season 2008, Rajasthan Royals, which also won the series in 2008, had 30 number of wins in that season. And in 2009, Kings 11 Punjab had 6, so on and so forth. And then we can also do like a plot. And if I just auto scale this back out, I can zoom in to a particular season. Each of these cyclic graphs has one season's information. So over here, for example, 2013 Mumbai Indians, Chennai Super Kings, Rajasthan Royals, and it shows how many matches were won in this particular season. So this is grouping by season, and you can see how many matches were won by each team in each season. From this graph, we can also analyze that Mumbai Indians has had maximum number of wins in 4 seasons. So as I said, they're a very powerful franchise currently in the IPL. And lastly, we can also see that the team that has won by maximum runs has also been Mumbai Indians, and we do that using the ILOC method and then check for IDX min. So that's it for this data analysis project. You can perform a lot of other functions, but this is what I've restricted it to. Thank you very much for watching.